topic of the day, Thrive Just Don't Survive. We'll be exploring how to use Microsoft 365 hacks for productivity and wellness. Uh, this is my favorite topic because I use this day in and day out, but I this topic specifically I presented for this day, Women's Day. And thanks, Mita, for inviting me to this session and Pune Tech community for organizing such a nice event. It's good to be with you all today evening. Without any further delay, I'll move. So these are some of the topics that I would be covering, but uh, and I'm not any productivity guru or something. Having said that, whatever I explored, I would try to show it to you, and whatever you follow, I would say that you go ahead and implement whatever you follow in these manners. Probably I'm just showing you the lines. You can connect the dots. Before starting, myself, Divya Akula, I have around 14 years of experience in in complete Microsoft ecosystem. So I started with SharePoint 2013 and continued with Power Platform, PowerShell, Microsoft 365, and right now working with Microsoft Syntax, chatbots, and RPA. Those are my social media handles. Like if you want to follow me or talk to me, or if you have any questions regarding the session or anything outside this. So out of all the topics, why productivity? So there is a saying that money can't buy everything, but I also would say that time also time is very limited, and time can buy few things. Like if you have the control over the time, you can invest it in very useful manner other than the work. I mean, yes, work is important, but the other things that we are in life, it is very important. Probably more cuddles with your kid, or a date night with your partner, or just a coffee session with your parents, whatever. It can be only bought with time. Nothing else can buy you this. So that's deep dive. Again, as I said, I'm not any productivity expert. All I wanted to do is like towards the end of the session, probably if you can achieve something or enhance something, if you can identify your vision statement, and if you have or if you can accomplish that sense of achievement, then probably if your effectiveness and efficiency would be high, definitely, with less worry, and definitely your innovation would be impacted. And with that, I'll be starting with Microsoft 365. So we know that a lot of people work with M365. Other than the enthusiast, right now business people usually are involved in Microsoft 365. Every one of us has E3 and E5 licenses, but most of us are restricted to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, OneDrive, and SharePoint. Right now, since Copilot, people are talking a lot. Copilot people wanted to use, but there are blockers on how to use, where to use, etc. But other than this, there are a lot of tools that Microsoft 365 provides. I would I would give you pointers on what all you can explore that makes your day-to-day life better. And one more thing is, I do not have any dedicated demo. This section is divided into 3 modules. After each module, I'll show how do you do that using M365. So the first part of the productivity is dividing anything into tasks. So I call it as a tasking. Like even in my day in, day out, I'll start with tasking, or prior to before day, we'll start with something called as tasking. And the famous rule with productivity is 2-minute rule. Anything that can be done within 2 minutes, do it now. Or anything that is more than 2 minutes, probably you can defer it. Defer it in the sense you can pick it up for later or mark it for later. Now, how do you define a task, or what is that can fall under 2 minutes? Any flow of that. Say, for example, if you need to communicate something to your manager that the report is ready and you just need to use this link. The report is ready. All you need to say that use this link. This can be a communication, or you need to just inform your kid that tomorrow is a holiday. That can also be a communication. Whereas delegation, you want your junior or your manager to pick up one task tomorrow on priority. That's like a task where you wanted to give it to someone else. That's a thought. And the third part is the idea, probably for your blog or for your day-to-day tasks or anything. Just your brain would be flowing off any ideas. In these three sections, we would see how we can implement 2-minute rules. First part is communication. When coming to communication, usually what happens is, like, say for example, we are not working physically. We are more into a mental kind of work. So I would get a thought where at night 10 o'clock I wanted to inform something to my junior, and at the same time I do not want him to reply immediately to me, but I just wanted to offload it from my brain. In this scenario, usually what we do is we will write on a paper, and next day we'll pick the paper and send it. But if we forget it, we forget both the paper and the task, and whenever it becomes priority, we will again try to reinforce it. But what the option that we have in Microsoft 365 is you can schedule it. Right now, both Teams and Outlook has this schedule send option. So one way you're not expecting your junior to reply immediately, and at the same time, you might be replying to a mail to your manager, but it would be sent on the next day. Say for example, if you have scheduled it to be sent to next day, you are clearly setting your work boundary where you are stating that no, I'm not working after this time. After this time, then you can expect a reply to be on the next day. At the same time, now we work with various clients. One client is in Australia and one client is in US. It is like, say if I send a mail to a client right now for an Australian client, he would be very irritated by even without checking the mail, because it would be 12 o'clock or night 1 o'clock. That is where your schedule send option would come handy. So if you haven't seen, I'll show it to you, but just to be aware, better I will show it to you. So this is Grady. Say, for example, I wanted to send him this report where he needs to look into it in the morning, next day morning. And it might be during his off business hours. Instead of sending it directly, probably what we can do is we can draft the same message. You can schedule it. You can schedule it when it should be sent. I don't want to disturb him on Saturday and Sunday. I just wanted him to send it on Monday at 8 a.m. Continue. So you have to hit on send for it to send it on Monday. And the other thing is you need not be online. It will schedule it and send it. The same thing is with Outlook. You can schedule a mail in Outlook so that the task from your brain is already gone and it will reach to them in appropriate time. Coming back. Second part of this is delegation. Like you have a task that needs to be created to someone else, not for you. It has to be like your junior has to pick it up, or your client has to approve the pipeline request, anything. So in order to do that, you can use the planners. What I'm requesting is do not always use Teams to communicate. Use planners and Azure dashboard. Since we are talking about Microsoft ecosystem, I'm concentrating on Azure dashboard. You can use Jira or Confluence. In one way, your task is recorded over there. Second is, even when they start their work day, it is readily available to them on what to focus. Also, set priorities as and when needed. Like planner, you can set priorities. Azure dashboard, probably you can move it to the higher level. And the third part is idea dump. Like it's a small idea and you wanted to note it. The first quick option is for me is Microsoft To Do because it is a beautiful app that can be installed in your phone, and whenever you have an idea, you can just create it, and it is seamlessly integrated with your Outlook, your planner, your Viva Insights, whatever it is. You just need to pull them, and it is displayed on your Outlook or Viva or Pass. So just to have an overview, I will show you how it looks in my Mac OS. So it is not like since I have Mac, it is not available. No, it is available and it is integrated. The best part is it is integrated with your Outlook as well. So this is my dumping place where I dump everything, like whether it is my blogging or something I need to do with speaking events, something I need to do with my LinkedIn, with my resume, with my work, with my kit, everything. Just dump it and leave it. Brush off the brain, let it rest. And the second option is SharePoint list. You can very beautifully create your own list, or now it is also called as Microsoft list. You can create your own list. Just go to list.microsoft.com and try to create your own list. You can add Power Automate if you wanted to automate certain things, or if you wanted to connect it to dashboard, Azure dashboard, or any kind of integration. It is possible with Microsoft list. Third part is planners. So if you are not working on a huge project, if you are working on an internal project, the go-to option is usually planners because it doesn't have any extra cost, and you can use all the possible options with the free version of the planners. Now we have spoken about tasks. We have created the tasks. We have delegated the tasks. Now what about scheduling? How do you schedule this? Because we want things to be automated so that it has a less stress on our brain. So for scheduling in productivity, there is a saying, if you do not block your calendar for your tasks, other people would block your calendar for their tasks, which means that usually people tend to block calendars only for meetings. No, calendars are meant to be blocked for the tasks on priority first. If there is a time, then meetings. Or the other way, like if the meeting is really important for the task to move, then meetings should take over the priority. But it is always important to schedule your tasks and categorize it. I would also say add one more principle called unify it, because having multiple calendars at multiple places, it just adds stress, and at some point of time you tend to ignore the calendar notification. So maintain one calendar, categorize it, whether it is your personal task or it is your delegation task, or if you need to help your junior with something. I'll actually show you the my calendar which is in Mac. Again, why I'm not stressing on the Mac part, but why I'm stressing that how seamlessly it is integrated. So if you see here, my day starts at around 5 a.m. Everything is here. The places where I left empty is where people can block my calendar for their meetings. So it is very important to block your calendar for your tasks. If it is not done, then as I said, someone else would take hold of your calendar. And women especially, we tend to attend others rather than ourselves. So I'd say first focus on yourself and your calendar, then others and other calendars. Now, the second part of it is also with respect to time or scheduling. You have this beautiful Viva Insights. Viva Insights helps you to block certain things, and it also helps you to be in line with the productivity principles. The first principle is deep work. Deep work in the sense like you should work for a allocated time. whether you use Pomodoro technique for 25 minutes or complete 4 hours with full Pomodoro set, I would suggest use that in line with your calendars and time blocking. So Viva Insights have this concept of focus time, where you can schedule focus time for say I usually schedule month wise. I'll revisit my schedule and do this focus time. During this time, none of the people would be able to ping you, but you can set who are the people important. Like for example, I set always my client to be important. So when he pings, I'll get a notification. The second person is my VP or third person is the CEO. So only these three people, if they ping me, I'll get a notification. Otherwise, there are no notifications during my deep work hours. And along with this focus time, you can do a habit stacking. Again, I'll take you back to my calendar. Say this is my focus time, which Viva Insights has blocked for me. And during this focus time, I thought of doing say a R&D on content assembly for syntax. Habit stacking is a concept where you pick one habit, continue it. Once that habit is habituated, pick on the second habit. So here I started with R&D on content assembly of syntax. I continued it for a while on every Tuesday at 4 p.m. And once I am done, I have created second habit during the same focus time, saying that draft the facts for the blog. Based on my R&D, I will start creating a Word document. This is called as habit stacking. And you can, there is no limitation on how many habits you will stack for any block of time. It all depends on how much time you have. So for me, if it is 2 hours, I will do R&D for 1 hour, facts blogging for second hour, and the necessary screenshots for third hour. I am done. Probably I am sorted out for that week LinkedIn posts or blog posts. So use this principle, and probably it can help you with to achieve more things than what you were doing. And second is quiet time. So we usually tend to think on things off work hours about office and during work hours about home. So during quiet time, and we do not have any control over it. Definitely, even I do not have any control over it. But the least thing that I will do is schedule my quiet time. So during my quiet time, I do not get any notifications from office. So focus time is different. Focus time is for office, quiet time is for your personal time. So during this time, you will not get any notifications, anything urgent or very important. Say if you are worried that, oh, this is very important and I might miss it during my quiet time. No, if it is very important, your manager or your subordinate or someone will always try to reach you on your mobile. So uh, directly on your number, I mean. So enable this quiet time. At least you would not be bothered with those pings or those rush of the work would slow down in your body. The third option that Viva Insights would give is lunch hours. 30 minutes. There is, I mean, especially people who are working remote. I work remotely, so I have this problem. Like, even when I'm having my lunch, people tend to call because they are not aware. Either I have to set in a status message, which is usually not be visible to any of the users. So what I try to do is set my lunch hours probably for 30 minutes, and where they will get a cute where I'm off for my lunch and I can scoop my few spoons of rice happily. And fourth is mood logging. Mood logging is a very important concept and very underrated concept. Say, for example, I have went into a meeting and the client has thrashed me, and I do not have a break during the next meeting. It is that back to back. I have to have client. I'll have another client meeting, and then I have to go back to my juniors and report the work that they have to do. Now, usually we tend to carry out the mood. Say, for example, if you are happy, you will tend to carry the happiness. If you are sad, you tend to carry the sad. But that might not work always. Sometimes the client may be happy client, you cannot go with sad face. The client may be furious client, you cannot go with happy face. So what you do is Viva Insights again provide something called as mood logging, wherein you can track your mood. Just click on that symbol or click on the icon. I'll just show you how it looks. Click on that icon and you will definitely, probably first time you might not feel, but during, as and when you start doing this mood logging, you will try to notice the changes, that how you can control the moods rather than the mood controlling you. And fifth part, definitely, most of us might be using it, the work hours or actual work hours. Um, Say you are working from 8 to 5. It is not necessary that every person in your office would work from 8 to 5. They might be working on shifts 11 to 8, whatever it might be. But set it you in your teams so that your client is aware. If you are not replying, he would understand why you are not replying. Your manager is aware. Sometimes your people manager would be different from your project manager, so that he is aware why you are not replying, because they might not keep track of what everyone in their team is doing, like the bosses and super bosses specifically. And actual work week, whether you would be working on Saturdays, Sundays, what is your week off? All this can be done with Viva Insights. For that, I'll show you how quickly and easily we can do it. Give me 1 second, I'll pull up the screen. This is the Viva Insights screen. You can directly navigate it in the browser, but I feel it is very handy if I use with Teams. So, so here, this is my booked focus time for today. Like 4 to 6 was my booked focus time if I was in office today. It also gives me a overview on how my meeting habits are. Like, was it started during the time, or do we have any late meetings? Is everyone provided with the Teams meeting link? Should we do some improvements or not? If you see here, there are few meetings where it has very low attendance. So I can go back and see whether the people is needed or not. So this is few details on how we can track. So I was talking about the mood tracking. So here, here is what you can just select. You can do multiple logging, not immediately. Probably after 1 hour, you can do another mood tracking. So all you need to do is click on those little cute icons, and you're good to go. And when it comes to focus time, I usually do it in Outlook, and it is seamlessly integrated. So there is no problem on where you do, whether it is in Outlook or in Teams. I'll give it few minutes to load. Looks like my. So if you see here, it shows, it gives me the details of all my meetings, and what, and if needed, it can schedule 15 minutes pre-meeting time to get me prepared blocked. It is not like you prepare upfront and do it. You can take this 15 minutes or 10 minutes. This says that you can set your OO. Usually I set it you on when I am going on vacation. So that is true. That is one thing maybe we can improve. Second is, like, if you had some meetings, maybe your skip boss is here. It is my double skip boss. It says, it asks me to meet one-on-one. Same thing, it will show it for my juniors, but I usually meet them, so it is not showing here. It can, I'm not sure why it is now not showing. How can I book my focus time? So here it is. Sorry. It gives all the available slots in my calendar and asks me to book it. So once you book your focus time, no one would be able to call you, ping you. I mean, you at least would not get any notifications. The other way is very good. Like, you can send messages, you can call them. Very useful when you're working on multiple rows. So you can choose on which days you need this focus plan, and this is your quiet plan where say I chose that I work from Monday to Sunday, and start time is 8 and end time is 9. Say if I'm working, sorry, the quiet time is the other way where I'm not working. Like 8 to morning 9 o'clock. If anyone thinks, it doesn't send me any notifications. There are two options. Again, mute mobile notifications for certain hours, or if you wanted to mute it for all days. Say, for example, Saturday, Sunday, I have muted it for all day. If there is something urgent, people would has to call me directly. Reflection, reflection. We have already spoke. It is just a reminder for the reflection. And effective meetings, we have already spoke. Like how would you organize your meetings? And this is my work schedule. So if client sends a message after 7 in the evening, it sends a notification that Teams would send a small, not notification, maybe it shows a yellow bar that you're trying to reach the person off their working hours. So after 7, he would get that notification. So he has this understanding of, okay, she might reply me late, or you would have the understanding that client is not working during this hour. So I might schedule it. I might schedule my message. These are only a few things which I have tried and I have showcased, but there are a lot other options which whenever you get to choose, or whenever you get to time, I would say go and explore and see how it works for you. Next, it is not any productivity principle, but the usual thing that we feel in day-to-day basis is updates. Updates. Sometimes I forget to send updates to my manager, and sometimes I don't get updates from my team. So how do I follow up? The usual traditional way is like you have an Outlook email, you will either convert it to a task or you will flag it up. And since it is a flag, it will show up in your tasks, and it will show up in your tasks. Sorry, excuse me. So it will show up in your tasks, and you have to send one more mail. The other option that we have with Microsoft 365 is there is something called as Updates app. Again, let me pull it up. Updates app is nothing but where you have a single place to create and request for updates. Yes. Again, this it has nothing to do with productivity. Uh, one second. I just need to take pass on this call.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, everyone. Uh, I'm back. So this is the updates app where you can either collect quick updates or schedule weekly updates. If you have seen that I have scheduled a weekly update, or you can uh, schedule a daily update. For example, here I said all you need to do is click on collect updates, and you have different templates on what updates you need to collect. So what is the advantage of this app when compared to Outlook? You have one place. You have one place where you can see all the updates that you need to send and the updates that you are supposed to receive. You can collate and send it. And the other thing is you can also choose who has to participate in this update, and you can customize everything. Like you can customize whether it should be a short text, rich text, number. I mean, all the options that you have in a SharePoint column are supported here. So here I have already created, or this is the default weekly update. What we have done in this week, what is the plan for this week, and do you need any help? The user can fill it. Here, say for example, if I chose grading, Grady has to fill in and send this form. Once I collate all the updates, I would probably then set up my action plan for next week. Just click on publish and you would be able to share it. In the interest of time, I might not be able to show you how it works, but this is just a concept where I thought it might be interesting because we usually struggle with updates. And and the last option is, sorry. So the one thing that we have talked about productivity, we have talked about everything, but the one thing, the key thing that we have missed is goals. Goals are your OKRs, where you can use Viva goals as an option, but that would be a topic in itself, a whole complete topic, which we might take it for another day. So last part of the productivity, reflections. Always do the reflections, self-reflection. Self-reflection, you can choose, take a notepad, call it self-reflection, what you wanted to do, what you wanted to do tomorrow, or how the day is. Or the other option that you have is Viva Insights would itself provide some option that I'll show you in 1 second. And third is gratitude. Say, make it an habit to thank your colleagues, because that is the one place we where we tend to thank very less. Make it as a habit and you see the change or shift in the office area that or people that you work with. And wind down shamelessly, like say, usually I do not take more than 3 tasks. Once you have ticked off all these 3 tasks, you have completed all these two, call it as done. Now stop thinking of it and start thinking of what you need to do for next day, log it and call it as a done. So to do that, again, we have some options with Viva Insights where I say virtual commute. Since I work remotely, I will say my notification time 7 o'clock, I have to wind up. When I do this, Teams would send a notification. It's already 7, so it has already sent me a notification saying that it, you have to begin your commute. And when you click on this, you have some nice options where I'll see what are all the meetings that I have for tomorrow and plan it accordingly. What are all the tomorrow's tasks and what I need to prioritize. And wind down, it is integrated with Headspace, a beautiful platform where you can do a 2-minute body scan, or you can do a 1-minute meditation or 2-minute breather break. And also you can reflect on how your day went. So take some time to go through this. This is, as I said, these are just insights on how I do. You can apply your productivity principles or your techniques and integrate with Microsoft 365. And the request is specifically women, take a break, keep breathing, and spend time with your loved ones. That's all I have to say. And uh, if you have any, I mean, I just touch based on the Viva topic, but there are other options that can make our lives easier. Look at it, have a hold on the tool, and probably that's it. I mean, that's it. I always start with a quote. Now I'm ending with a quote. Say, a woman who prioritizes her well-being isn't selfish. She's just architecting her own strength, and so is her family's strength. So take your well-being as a priority. And thank you. Thank you, Pune Tech community, for this wonderful opportunity. That's all from my side. Any questions?